Previously on The Challenge, Rivals 3.
Welcome to your worst nightmare. You're going to be paired up with your rival of the opposite sex.
This is going to be complete chaos.
I am putting all of my faith in my enemy.
Ah! Johnny! What the Did you do that on purpose, Dick?
I trusted you.
You know who I am. I'm not going to be able to get rid of my dickness.
It's like we're in a damn relationship.
I need you to step your mother game up.
Seriously? I can't believe I'm stuck with that douchebag.
That's your partner.
First challenge of Rivals 3, and guess who comes out victorious? Vince and Jenna. We just showed everybody that we're a dominant team.
Vince is acting like he is the king of all kings.
Come on, man. Come on, swim over here and get this for me.
You need to stop walking around like you're God's gift to this planet, because you're not.
I'm a baker, not a robber, babe. And I don't give a fuck.
Welcome to the Baker's Dozen podcast, hosted by yours truly, RiverCity Clement, and our second episode of our brand new series, Rise to the Challenge. Our in-depth analysis of this latest season of the Challenge, Rivals 3. We debuted last week with an episode just south of an hour, in which we broke down the cast, previewed the upcoming season, looked at the location, made a few predictions, and even contemplated which members of this season of The Real World, Go Big or Go Home, may be good fits in the Challenge universe in future years. If you haven't heard episode 1 and you like to go in order, and you've been watching in order for the show, pause this episode, download the series premiere for episode 1. It's in our archive. It's easy to find on iTunes, the podcast app, or at our Podomatic page. Every episode is always free and packed with analysis, a few clips, and plenty of insight. It downloads if you have Wi-Fi directly to your phone, tablet, or any device. It's real easy to catch up with us. Many of you have already heard it, but if you haven't, feel free to jump back. If you're ready to go now or already heard the episode or just want to jump straight into a few thoughts on this week's episode, which was aptly titled The Curse of the Black Skull.
It is my intention to commandeer one of these ships, pick up a crew and Tortuga, raid, pillage, plunder, and otherwise pilfer my Weasley black guts out.
I said no lies.
No, not the Black Pearl. This is the Challenge, guys. Hey, let's do this thing. In fact, let's try this quick hit style. If you've listened to this show before, you know what I mean. It's a few random thoughts with a transition. And since I'm riding solo this week, this week's episode, I think the quick hit style will work. Just listen for this sound between thoughts. Episode 2 of Rivals 3 starts off with deliberation over who's going into the first elimination round, which isn't a surprise as last week ended, somewhat anticlimactically, with Jessica and Johnny Riley awaiting their opponents. So the question becomes, who will Jenna and Vince nominate? Jenna won't put strategy into play much, so you have to wonder what Vince's decision will be. More to the point, is Vince simply a lieutenant to Johnny Bananas, or is he his own man? Seems like the producers, or maybe Vince and Johnny themselves, have gone out of their way to show Vince is standing on his own. We'll see how long that lasts, of course. LeRoy's back. Now, literally, LeRoy's back is injured. Pinched nerve, it seems. Quick question, is there some sort of pre-screening before these challenges? This didn't seem to just pop up, as it was discussed before the first challenge event even went down. LeRoy doesn't seem one to milk this, and he's clearly in pain, as visiting the doctor is now a reality. And this doesn't just put LeRoy in jeopardy. His teammate Avery has to know that the producers would most likely send her home as well. Personally, I'd like to know if this was the case for all competitors, or if they have a backup rival for certain alpha personalities. Conspiracy theory? Nah, I'm just curious. A sizable chunk of the first third of this episode focuses on Jessica and Tony. The two are big-time flirts, although Tony takes the cake, not just in terms of the challenge house, but frankly flirting for the male species. Side note, Tony impregnated Madison, his housemate and girlfriend on Real World Explosion. They had a daughter recently, but they're separated. Meanwhile, Tony has also impregnated his ex from Real World Explosion, Alyssa. That's 2 for 2 for a very young guy. I'm not calling him Travis Henry or Antonio Cromartie yet, but Jessica better be quite careful. This guy might look at you and get you pregnant. Although apparently there's plenty more drama for her in this episode. Well, that's for damn sure. Camilla offering sage advice? Check that. Sober Camilla offering sage advice. Another side note, does this girl age? Camilla has that Brazilian look, she's got killer eyes, and when she's in a good mood, you gotta believe everyone in the house is in a good mood too. Camilla flat out tells Johnny Riley the key to winning, especially with a partner like Jessica, who's a weaker partner, just build confidence in them. And if all else fails, fake it, lie. The moment Johnny realizes that all Jessica needs is confidence, real or false, they can win. In the challenge, no trust usually equals no chance. Even Bananas and Sarah, notably absent or silent in this episode, they're going to have to be able to build some level of trust in order to win, which I'm still predicting they do. Quite easily, actually. So it's dinner time for the power team, and I can't be the only one who wants to know some of the perks of what they're getting. Vince tells us it's a ribeye and tequila, and a cursory look at their plates tells you it's Mexican themed. Jenna, of course, is picking at stuff because, well, Jenna picks at stuff. Forget your pickiness, I'm sure Vince would enjoy both plates, as I would. You then get the weird dynamic of those two trying to formulate a plan, or even have a conversation, which eventually ends up in an awkward pair of visits. First up, are you the ones, Nate and Christina. Nate's the tattooed guy who wouldn't skydive, and Christina, she went home first last challenge. Look, I don't have any affinity or angst or anger towards Christina, but I wouldn't like to see somebody go home twice first 2 years in a row. That's not the legacy you want to leave, and it's hard to get back on the show. Fortunately, Vince and Jenna realize that these two are layups, a term that is actually growing on me when it comes to challenge nomenclature. And they're safe. It's a smart move. Vince, smart. Jenna, well, just keep wearing skimpy bathing suits and winning challenges. So this means Brandon and Brianna, a team that I thought had some staying power, especially within the Are You the One stable, they're nominated. It's no surprise because, well, newbies going first, Are You the One people going first, plus Brandon doesn't seem to say much, and it's not a good way to win over the house. So they're set up to match up against Johnny Riley and Jessica, who for some reason whenever I think about her, I want to call her Vanessa. Maybe I knew a Vanessa like a Jessica, who knows. Look, I'm leaning towards the veteran team, but this is actually a pretty close matchup, almost 50-50, especially depending on what the elimination round is. I'm also wondering what the setting's going to be. But looking at the timing of the show at this point, it seems that we're not going to see these two teams face off for another 20 minutes. Although I think I'm starting to understand the pacing of this show a little better now. More on that in a bit. Potential hookup alert! Last week's hookup total, 1. Ashley, aka Smashley, and Jamie. I can't figure out Ashley's appeal exactly. I mean, she's got a nice body, and maybe her personality brimming with some sort of confidence / available sluttiness. It works. Maybe it's just pure availability. Meanwhile, she's flirting with Jamie again, but no bathroom visit this week. Sarah, Jenna, and Avery, the self-titled sex cops, whatever that is, they seem to be placing bets. Well, not literally, but they want to see who's going to be the next to fall, who's going to be the next to hook up. And their money is on Tony and Jessica, which I can't second. Jessica's a tease. Sure, she'll mess around, but not to the level that Tony wants. In fact, I'm not sure the stable of ladies at a typical Brazzers shoot can keep Tony satisfied. I'm just saying. On the periphery, Nicole is giving LeRoy some sort of a back massage. Is that foreshadowing? Nah. Although I think Nicole is due for a hookup, though. It's those Nani jeans. It's gotta happen. But back to Tony and Jessica, who seem to be the stars of this episode, for better or worse. It appears that Jessica is in a relationship, doesn't miss her terrible boyfriend, is looking for any excuse to end that relationship, seems perfectly content rubbing up on Tony, doesn't think that Tony is the relationship type though, and has to officially be the last person on earth to realize this. Maybe now outside of Tony's 2, and counting probably, baby mamas. So within the span of this episode, Jessica basically tearfully breaks up with her boyfriend on the phone. Meanwhile, Tony didn't hook up with Jessica, but he doesn't want to flat out admit it, and may have crapped his pants at some point too. Look, this is Johnny Football on the challenge, folks. That's what Tony is. And as I said last week, the guy is a douchebag, as Camilla let us know. But Tony's our douchebag. So live long, fornicate, and spread your seed, good sir. Back to the rest of the house, LeRoy, according to TJ and this unknown team of doctors on call for the challenge, he's not medically cleared to compete anymore.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
And I gotta ask again, how has his back, become an issue so suddenly? Is there any type of pre-screening or physical before the challenge starts? Insider information that we all deserve to know. So LeRoy's going home, and ditto for Avery. Look, I won't miss Avery much, although she is a pretty solid competitor. Look, Avery and LeRoy weren't going to win, but they did make a solid team. It does take away an ally from Bananas and a headache from Johnny Riley, who ironically is also a Bananas loyalist. Not sure why we can't give Avery a new partner, although I suppose it is rivals, and she doesn't have a lot of rivals yet. Which means next week, a new team is coming in. I mean, they didn't say it, but TJ doesn't need to tease that. It's going to happen. And I'm curious how many people in the house are actually anticipating a new team, and how many haven't given it one single thought. Jenna? Sorry, I'm piling on her, which is uncalled for, especially after the thong cartwheels she did in years past. Moving on, the question has to become, who are the replacements? Well, I don't know any spoilers, but my guess is it's more than likely another Are You the One team, rather than a team of crafty veterans. Of course, we know what 99% of us want, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Then again, how much would everyone love to see Zach or CT or Abram or Cara Maria or a total wild card show up? I know I would for team replacement. And finally, to the elimination round, almost. First a twist. Maybe even a super twist. It appears as every elimination round could be a triple threat match situation, sort of. I'm still waiting for the twist on the twist. TJ's got something else left for us. Johnny Riley and Jessica, not Vanessa, are automatically going in due to their last place showing last challenge event. But it's not just Bree and Brandon that might be going in. TJ lets Vince, Jenna, and the whole cast know that a second team has to be nominated, and Jenna and Vince have to do it immediately. They don't break on their word from Nate and Christina, which is smart, and they just go for another Are You the One team, Devin and Cheyenne. Who? Exactly. Nobody knows much about these people, especially if you don't watch Are You the One, which I've admitted I don't. It's actually a pretty smart audible, and it helps crack an alliance that, never truly formed between that young cast. It appears that we're starting to figure out the show format a little bit for the most part. It seems that each episode's going to alternate with having a challenge and a deliberation to a tease. And then some episodes will have the deliberation and the elimination event like the first two did. It's hard to fit a challenge, a deliberation, and an elimination, even the first part of it, into one episode. If you do that, you lose a lot of time in the house, you lose a lot of the potential drama, the crying, the fighting, and of course the hookups. And you gotta go to the clubs and to the beaches once in a while. And trust me, all of that's coming. But it does force the producers to stretch out 60 minutes with one major event, whether it's a challenge or an elimination. Deliberation, it's going to be a little more random this year, but it's nothing huge, especially since the entire house knows the rules now. And that's difficult even for huge fans of the show like myself, because we want a little bit more action. I love the challenge mainly because of the challenges, because of the eliminations. And when Jessica is the epicenter of the show, Tony or not, with little to no fanfare for LeRoy and Avery's exit, I think you lose something. This episode, it's been a little average, kind of B-, where the premiere was pretty solid. Look, we need more drama, and I'm looking at the likes of Ashley, Bananas, Camilla, Corey, and of course Tony to try and deliver that next week. And let's keep on getting some new combinations, please. Let's try to find a new way to stir up drama. Man, I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I'm really struggling to care about the Are You the One challenge competitors a lot. The producers, they're really trying to get us to know them, but I can't be the only one with this problem. Look, I'm not going to complain too much because I have a solution. Look, keep Dario. I think this guy really works on the show, especially if you give him a male rival and a couple girls to chase. He's got that confidence that works. And of course, as I've said before, I put it out on Twitter, please bring back Brittany Baldy to fix this. She's got the appeal to cross over easily. I know she's got her sports media career going on, but Baldy's got a strong Twitter game. She's got strong challenge possibilities with the right partner. I actually found out after tweeting her that she was supposed to be on Bloodlines, but her brother backed out. Look, she's good for this show. Do it, guys. Seriously, bring Brittany back. And with about 12 minutes left in the episode, it's finally elimination round time. And my gut is telling me that Johnny Riley and Jessica will figure this out. Although Jessica is 0-3 in elimination challenges, and it hasn't often been pretty. Johnny Riley and the producers let us know that as well. Looks like this season's eliminations are in a jungle setting, which works. It's secluded, it's closed off, and there's some animosity sort of just by being in that type of a situation. And I hope we have some new entertaining elimination ideas. We don't have any hulking physical guys on the show, so things seem to be a little bit more even. Maybe stamina over strength. The first elimination is called Skull Challenge, and it turns out there's another twist in the game. But it works because, the more drama, the better. Basically, as Vince puts it, it's a game of Russian roulette in order to avoid the elimination round. The elimination will not be a triple threat. I'm kind of bummed on that, but sending 2 teams home, it's too quick. Instead, the 2 nominated teams from the winning team, not the team that was automatically placed in for finishing last, those 2 nominated teams are going to take turns drawing from 4 skulls, yes, literal mini skulls, from a little bag or pouch or sack. 3 of the skulls are white, 1 of them is black, and if you pull the black one, you're automatically in the elimination round. They're going back and forth, and Johnny and Riley and Jessica, they're basically seeing who they're going to face in the final round. Bree and Cheyenne, they both pull out white skulls, so it's 50-50 for Brandon, who pulls out the 3rd white skull. Pretty impressive, 3 out of 4, are white, are pulled out first. That leaves the 4th and final skull, the black one, for Devin. So Brandon and Bree are safe. They're a pretty strong team in my opinion, so that's a benefit to them. Meanwhile, Devin and Cheyenne, they're on to the elimination round. I'm sorry, Corey, but your flirt buddy Cheyenne, I think she's definitely going home. The elimination round, called Back It Up, is pretty damn clever. It's a cool contest to watch. Basically, you put your body and back against a wall. And you're going to push yourself up with your legs, which are reaching the other side, basically while cradling your partner or, forming sort of a bond with them while cradling a ball in between you two. And you got to move up about, 15, 20 feet, and you're going to be suspended in the air. Now, you've got a harness on you, so if you fall back down, you're not going to be hurt, but you'll have to start all over. This challenge, it's going to take stamina, core strength, communication, and a real desire to win. It's a smart game, especially for the first elimination. Early on, look, you're not fooled into the fact that Cheyenne does way less than Jessica, but this is going to be really hard for Cheyenne, who doesn't scream athleticism. She admits it herself, and you're going to have a lot of stamina and strength to pull this off. It's going to be a lot of pressure on your core. Devin and Johnny Riley, they don't seem too separated in overall skill. However, I think the girls are the real difference. Jessica's also been through these before, and even though she hasn't been ultimately successful, there's something to be said for being there before. After a slow start, Jessica gets the push she needs from Johnny Riley. Mini shout out to Camilla. And they take home the victory in somewhat comfortable fashion. 3-2. Solid elimination round, and a game I wouldn't mind seeing again, but not for a few weeks. Especially with 2 stout teams. So Johnny Riley and Jessica win. Approval, again, according to Camilla, is right. It equals winning. And Jessica can at least say that she's got a win in the elimination. She's 1-3. And apparently to her, winning a challenge is the best thing ever, even better than a chocolate bar. And I bet when she was filming this, she was like, it's better than a Snickers or a Reese's. And they had to retake it. Bet me on that one. For the second straight week, the episode ends pretty suddenly. It's on a positive note for Johnny Riley and Jessica. We have to wonder if Cheyenne and Devin will be back on future seasons. My guess is one of them will. Maybe Cheyenne rekindling with Corey with their mini flirtation, but in all honesty, myself, and most, we're not going to lose any sleep if they don't. As for the mini preview for next week, and I would have liked to have seen them gone back to the house and had something happen, but I only caught a few choice clips, which I typically try to avoid in most shows, but this one did catch me as I was trying to hit delete, and it looked pretty heated, which is something that this episode missed. Apparently, Jamie, aka the guy in the bathroom with Ashley, Smashley, made out with Nicole, aka Nani's cousin and the queen of the fake eyebrow glue or eyelash glue, who the hell knows. And, it happened in the club, and that has left a pretty drunk Ashley more than a little upset in the club. She's screaming, that Corey's going to try to comfort her. So, in a word, awesome. And in a few more words,
can't wait.
When your worst enemy
Paula, are you gonna say hi or not?
becomes your only teammate,
Paula, you're teamed with Evelyn.
the game will change.
I really got my work cut out for me. I'm pumped. Then I remember we don't like each other.
The Challenge Rivals.
she debuted during Fresh Meat. Evelyn Smith, aka Ev, is the second inductee into the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's still a thing, folks. Following last week's inductee, Darrell Taylor, Evelyn, famous for dominating challenges and the highlights in her hair, she competed in 7 challenges over her career, compiling 3 wins. We're talking almost a 50% rate of winning the whole damn thing. Her wins were at the Inferno 3, the The Island, a little bit of backstabbing you could say, and Rivals. In her 7 total challenges, she went into 7 eliminations, winning 4. Ev took home a little over $165K, an impressive number because the jackpot has only really started to rise in recent years, and she did win some team challenges. So it's a quick exit in her debut of Fresh Meat with her partner Danny, surprising, but by the end of her run, Ev is tied with fan favorite Veronica for the most challenge wins. Despite not being an alumni of Real World or Road Rules, Evelyn helped break the mold that newbies, from Fresh Meat specifically, could win titles, multiple titles. She battled, then allied with Paula. She was burned by Bananas and later stepped up to him when others failed to do so. She's not afraid to be outspoken. She lets people know, especially people like Bananas, what's on her mind. She never played scared. She always depended on herself to get the job done, both physically and mentally. She was a brutal matchup, whether inside the Elimination Chamber or not. And speaking of Paula, one of Evelyn's top rivals for several years, who played the role sort of the Buffalo Bills in the challenge universe for about 10 challenges, Paula won the first of her 2 challenges when she was paired with Evelyn. And Evelyn kind of picked Paula up and said, we're going to do this. And she delivered. Paula's second partner, Emily, was also under strong consideration for the first female spot on the BDP Hall of Fame. Emily's a beast. I mean, good grief. But Evelyn was an easy selection in the end to join Darrell. It's not meant to denigrate Paula. It's no surprise that, it took a partner like Ev to get her over the top. And that's part of the strength of Evelyn. So 2 members are now in the, BDP Challenge Hall of Fame, with 2 more coming next week. That's right, 2 guys will be inducted on next week's show when we take a look at the 3rd episode of this season of the challenge, Rivals 3, who will be the 2 new male entrants to join Darrell Taylor and Evelyn Smith. Well, we will find out next week. A shorter episode than our premiere, we still tackled a ton of issues as this season of the challenge, Rivals 3, has just gotten started. We've had our first group go home via injury, our first to go home via the Elimination Round. Rivalries have started to intensify. No real alliances yet, but some rivals just can't seem to reconcile while others can. And we've had some sexual tension start to heat up the house, and soon, hopefully the club. Shout out to Smashley. And as expected, this show just keeps getting better and better. If you don't know how to connect with us here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast, it's easier than ever. Just subscribe on iTunes or the podcast app, or bookmark us at Podomatic.com, whether you just want to listen to our challenge reviews or check out all the sports and pop culture and even politics that we talk about. We've had a jam-packed season 3. Most recently, I unveiled my top 13 sports movies of all time. And next week, I just previewed it, we're going outside of the box and talking politics from 2 different perspectives as the primary season transitions to the race for the White House and the presidency. That means back-to-back episodes in which we go from the challenge to politics. It's reality TV and maybe reality TV. Either way, check out episode 7 of season 3. It'll drop early next week. As always, we appreciate your support and hope you keep on listening. Hope you keep on watching the Challenge Rivals 3. The format, it's growing on me, but I'm just excited for the next episode. And make sure that you check out next weekend when we look at episode 3. Personally, I'm already excited for Wednesday night. But until then, we're going to continue our best to rise to the challenge.
If I could choose to start it over, I'd exercise more discretion. The lies are open, so nothing's so dead. Do you have good intention? Come on, let go of those affectations. You don't fool anyone. Come on, let go if you want it to go. The years will say what happened to you.
First off.
Yeah, shut the up. Hey, get out here and shut the up. Pull the out of here. Yeah. Oh, I'm 39 years old and I'm still on reality TV. I still haven't won anything, so shut the up. You stupid reject of a life. All right, Laurel. All right. What else do you have to say? You have fake boobs. You have fake boobs. You're anorexic. You can't get a husband. You don't have kids. You're ugly. Shut the up. Hey.